And it is a Walk with Mel, people. Welcome to a brand new show, brand new weekend special. Het is so exciting om julle te introduce aan die wonderlike mense. Ons is by die Koena Art Institute vandag. Ek is so geëerd om hier te wees en ek wil vir my nuwe gaste net welkom hier by Walk with Mel. Ek gaan net vir julle introduce. Just give us a quick introduction of who you are and where you're from.
I'm Lukretia Booysen. I'm the founder of the Koena Art Institute. And this is an Indigenous heritage preservation space that focuses on heritage preservation through arts.
Amazing. En jou kant?
And I'm Darion Adams. I'm the project manager and media liaison and a chief and a co-creator.
Ek sien dit.
Hier in die space.
Kijk eens, mos nou die hom wat ons nou uitgaan. Julle moet weet wie jy moet vir die regte mense in jou lewe kry. It's important because of you. We obviously meet you en ek bedoel, soos ek sê, ek het 'n video plek exist en ek is so excited daarvoor. Gee gou vir ons 'n bietjie van die history van die plek. Just please tell us how it started.
Okay, so ek doen heritage preservation predominantly, but because van Koena descent of Khoisan descent. And I've always been passionate about not necessarily preserving, but celebrating our people and celebrating our heritage. So I started about 7-8 years ago with heritage preservation, and because people started noticing the work that I did, I was approached by an artist who asked me if I would represent him because he wanted to be represented by someone who understood him as a brown or Indigenous artist, but also the subject matter, and who he felt he could relate to in that sense. I didn't know anything about art or selling art at the time, and he said, "Lukretia, please just try," and I did. And a week later, I sold my first art piece for 25,000 rand, and then from there, he left the gallery that he was with. Because he told me, if you represent me, I'll leave my gallery today. And he did that, and from there, more and more artists came to me, and today we've got an institute that works with them. So far we've worked, I think, about 40 plus brown, Indigenous, and also other artists.
Amazing.
And the predominant focus is just celebrating our people and giving space to our creators and our stories that are not being told. So the space is, just a culmination of, a lot of stories that haven't gotten the platform or would not otherwise have seen that platform. And yeah.
That's exciting. Hoe het julle paie gekry?
I can say.
Say it for me.
When I heard about the institute, and to soek ek is hier verby en die pad geloop so 3 keer. And eventually I realized, oh, this is the place. In Google Maps and so I walked in here, ek was nou dance, I just skiep ek in, and I just never left.
What?
And because I really enjoyed the space. I really loved Lucretia's energy and her personality and the way she is with people.
Amazing.
And we built a friendship from there. And then she asked me to work with her.
And what exactly do you do here?
So project manager. So I do the daily admin. I co-plan with her, I co-curate with her,
with events and things.
I sweep and I'm emotional support with her.
Therapy. And that's emotional support, hugger.
But in terms of my work here, media liaison.
Beautiful.
It's also just really just an activator of the space as well. So
lovely.
Outside of logistics, it's also hard to work.
Amazing. But what is the vision? You did mention it, but what is the vision ultimately for you with the space?
Ultimately, the vision is to not only create space for our stories and our artists, but also create a space of empowerment. So essentially, when you look at art studies and when you look at our position as Indigenous people, whether you would say we are the descendants of Indigenous people and so forth, there hasn't been much exploration into the fundamentals of the history and the progression of us as a people and our stories. It started with rock art, it stopped with rock art. You understand what I'm saying? And from there, it almost like stagnated, where people have propagated a story whereby we didn't change and we are still stuck in that kind of mindset. And the fact of the matter is, us Indigenous people, we have moved with the times. All of us have. And there's so much progression and so much different art forms and so much different stories that have come out through the times, but there was never the actual investment in documenting. In saying what does Indigenous art look like in the contemporary South African context, and what are the Indigenous people creating today? So the vision is having Indigenous studies, art studies, as actual faculty.
Wow.
Because I mean, African art studies or Indigenous South African art studies, there's not a subject matter on university level at all.
Wow.
So it would be good. That is essentially the dream. But then also this year we're opening up the space for young creatives, entrepreneurs, storytellers, people who have product offerings around the creative aspect, and we want to create that platform for them to come in and tell their stories.
Amazing.
But self-determination is the most important thing, where we want people to have or to learn to instill that how can I say, ethic, where we give you the space, but then you take control. And you become
responsibility.
You become the tailor of your product offering, and we will give support services.
That's beautiful.
But the space essentially is needed, because a lot of us, when I think about when I started, I would have loved to have a beautiful space where I could have put my work out on. But then those platforms are not readily available to us, and we don't have the money. So we were like, okay, how do we create a space, and how do we create space for these young entrepreneurs, for these dreams and these stories that they want to tell? And we decided that, okay, also sustainability for us as an institute, because this is a very community-based space. How do we create a model that speaks to sustainability, especially in the art sector, as a community, and still empower our people and others at the same time while we're doing it.
Amazing.
So the year for us is mainly about the evolution of Indigenous art, because that's our theme, but then also looking at, in the art sector, how do we create sustainability through the community model? And just
that's incredible. That's next level.
And I mean, something that Lukretia always emphasizes with me in our conversations, and it's with me coming to work with it, and she says, don't repay me, repay someone else, and bring someone else along. So art as investment, and all of the amazing work that can be done with art, but also just passing on that knowledge, because that is an Indigenous practice.
That's true.
So using modern times to I mean, just build on what is there and what is known to be there.
Ik wil veel gevraagd dat, want ons praat altijd over dat acceptance. Hoe accept die mensen? Do you think that people are very open to receive this new space? How has that been? How has the people been receiving it?
Well, obviously, when you look at Indigenous people generally, we look at the political climate, and Indigenous people, contemporary Indigenous people, have all been, how can I say, boxed into this political mess, and I don't believe in that. I don't think that culture and politics should marry. You understand what I'm saying? Because for you to exist, it's not political. You are just as is. We as Indigenous people, we should not be politicized. We should be allowed to just be.
True.
You understand? And you get a lot of questions when you say, okay, this is an Indigenous space, and people always come with their ideas.
And a perspective ook.
But that's understandable, because that is the climate that has been created. And we are not responsible for that. We are just responsible for creating, the change that is necessary. So we've received lots of amazing reviews, amazing support.
Great.
We have also, struggled also to navigate, the different perceptions. But I think that because the space is celebration predominantly, storytelling, and it's about love sharing.
I think that's
You know
why
what
it's
I'm saying?
making it easy to accept also when
That-
the focus is more to celebrate, it's love, it's open.
love.
I'm about to accept.
And it's learning and it's sharing. It's sharing because there's so much information about Indigenous people that people don't know.
Sure.
You know, and people love the fact that they can come here
Beautiful.
and they can learn things about Indigenous
Yeah.
people that they otherwise would not have learned.
Amazing.
Ja,
Amazing.
en net om te add, om 'n space te hê soos die Koena Art Institute, wanneer jy kom, jy voel there's a stukkie van jou hier,
Ah.
you know, and there's things in that look like
You.
you know, who could people like this
Family.
piece of family, this piece of art was called family, this piece of art,
The
Terence's
dance.
work, the dance,
Yes.
especially as a dancer, if you look at the art
Yeah.
here, you feel there's a part of you here.
It's so
You know, so
true.
you are connected to something, jy voel lekker,
Is
you know.
waar.
Something about you that you remember is here.
Ik zie net ook vaak, weet je, toen ons jongeren was, wat weet ons van art? Ons het misschien artgenootschap aan, so, maar het was nooit erg exposed in onze communities. So voor mij is het bijna cool dat jullie die change brengen. So jong mensen kan daar nou involved raken, you know.
And I speaks to the type of art that is being taught in school, Sinjay, because the type of things that are here is not necessarily taught in school.
Cool, 100%.
Of van hy perspective, you know,
Pick up
hoe kan hy education van jou perspective afkom? As jy nou een stap aan nou, ek weet nie.
Met Patty.
Verstaan jy?
Ja.
Met Patty werk,
Ja.
instead van met 'n crayon werk.
Got you.
Sinjay,
That's a different.
And hoe practical it actually like.
100%.
And it's difficult as it.
Us.
Sinjay.
Kijk guys, ik wil nog meer uitvinden over de events wat jullie ook zo is. Maar we're gonna take a quick break, people. So don't go anywhere. It is a walk with Smile. We're hanging out at Koena Art Institute. Don't go anywhere. And we are back, people. It is a walk with Mel. Today we're hanging out at Koena Art Institute in OBS, and it's such an honor to be hanging out here with you guys. Ik voel, soos ek sê, het voel regtig vir my hier's 'n stukkie iets van my hierso, en ek het regtig baie respek vir mense soos julle wat hierdie ding, that's paying it forward, man. And it's bigger than us. Die is baie groter as ons. Ons het vroeër gepraat obviously die visie van die plek en so aan, maar ek wil geweet het wat is daar, wat anders doen julle besides obviously art wat julle sell? What else do you guys do here?
Okay, so aside from selling the art, obviously the space is heritage preservation centered. So we do art exhibitions, we do poetry readings. We had Diana Ferris here, who did, you know, I've Come to Take You Home. She's launched a book. She's actually going to be here tonight as well for our reopening. And we've had Hilton Shoulder, who does a repertoire called Urban Koi. We've had Colin the Bushman doing Bushman Blues.
Wow.
We've had Oma Katrina here, who did a Ngu language class. Ngu is the oldest South African language, and she's the last speaker. So we've done a lot of work where we bring in people with knowledge and knowledge systems, and who has, you know, done the exhibitions. We've had a film screening as well. A few weeks ago, Nadine Kluter.
Net ons.
Yeah, so it was really nice. So we also, you know, like to do network sessions. So for example, filmmaker, you know, if you've got a film, you like to show your film, invite the industry players, you know, just so that you can, you know, so there's so many different things that we try and do workshops.
Sure.
So we just want to create that platform where people can come here and leave here enriched. So we've been doing.
Yeah, and we also
We've been doing quite a bit.
Yeah, like Lukretia, we sat and we thought, like, hoe gaan ons nou die space maak?
Yeah.
Werk, and how are we going to improve on what has already been done? So you know, and it's like taking this indigenous knowledge and sharing it and inviting people to come and participate. Like, so a tea session, a tea churn session, a koi churn session, indigenous massaging.
That's cool.
And partnering with the Koena Beauty Bar in Milnerton or Maitland.
It's in Montague Garden.
In Montague Garden.
It's a M.
Ja, is dat?
Stel dan.
Kijk hier.
Ja.
Ik was even jou, man. And how we can share the knowledge of the space.
Amazing.
And like center it with indigenous knowledge and then looking at how it has evolved and what plek vind.
Amazing.
Some massage met hy perspective.
I hear you.
Something.
En ek sien soos die artwork, as jy net paintings soos hierdie is ook, is total as different groottes ook, as jy net as 'n total, as jy net soos daar bos ook soos 'n ander move, dit is nog aan wys nou vir die mense wat hulle gemaak het, soos different tipe artwork, as jy net spesifiek paintings hier, hè?
No.
So like all of the artists like Terence Versace's work wat jy nou sien en Marlene's sculptures en Darion en Paula se werk en Simon Perry's pencil work wat so intricate and so beautiful is.
En different groottes.
Different sizes, different price ranges.
Okay.
Some are obviously larger priced at a higher price margin.
Obviously, yeah.
And then some are obviously much more affordable. So there's a wide range of artwork here. And allemaal het so different perspectives and different techniques. Like bijvoorbeeld toen dus Darion en Paula se werk opgezet het gister. En toen ik overheen, so dis die finishing touches. En het is nice om mij te zien hoe hij die techniques gebruikt. En hij deelt samen die perspectief wat hij nog gaat maken. En hij heeft gezegd, I'm actually going to take a bigger risk now. And I mark it so, and it's but it works and it changes. So everyone uses technique. Like Marlene work, it's sand and resin.
Okay.
Some are clay works. Some are oil on canvas. So ek leer ook in die
Jy's op, jy's 'n artist nou. Ek praat nou met 'n artist.
Yes. Ek gaan jou sê wat om te doen.
Sê vir my wat om te doen. Ek kan teach you. Just talking about challenges that you guys face. Obviously, having a space like this. Just a few that you can mention.
There are so many. There are so many challenges. Number one, especially when you are a person of color, moving into a market that is predominantly dominated by people that are obviously not of color. That is one of a major challenge. So getting entry and how can I say, being invited into spaces,
in certain spaces.
That is a challenge. Also the fact that because this has never been done before, nobody has ever considered creating a brown space that propagates brown knowledge systems and focuses on brown talent and putting that on platforms where it's owned and run by brown people. That is something that it's especially indigenous stories in the contemporary context. That's
heavy.
It is. So what we're doing is we are really trying our best, but obviously finances are also a huge challenge because it's like I started this and I used my life savings because this is something that I felt is worth investing in. Yeah, that's when you have dreams and you believe in something so badly because I mean this is not just me. This is a space where it's all of us. This is a community of people's work, of people's knowledge that comes out. So that for me is something that's worth investing in. And
amazing.
You know, we've I don't know by miracles we've gotten so much done, but I think it's because the community of people that have been supporting us has made it worthwhile and has made it possible as well. So money is always a problem.
En weet jy wat is dit vir my man, as omdat jou intentions reg is. You know, when you work from that space of pure intentions and if it's a dream, it will work out, man.
Yeah.
And this is not even about, you're not making it about you. It's about bigger than you. So I believe that it will work out no matter the challenges, because I mean, we gaan as life savings, I know how to travel, I know how but you used it for a bigger purpose that's beyond you, and that to me is leaving behind a legacy. In my opinion. So
and it's important that we recognize the type of sacrifice a woman like Lukretia has made, and recognizing the potential for nog mense to experience, you know, and to build that culture of brown businesses and indigenous businesses, you know, that are financially stable and that we're working towards us being to continue being financially sound.
Sure. Want as baie mense wat kyk na jou, wat gaan kyk 'n jong meisie wat gaan kyk of 'n jong ouetjie wat gaan kyk en gaan sy kan dit doen, sy lyk soos ek en ek kan dit ook doen. Ek wil met julle praat oor highlights van vandag in julle journey sover en die highlights so far.
I think my highlight was meeting Dr. Diana Ferris. And for those who are watching, Diana Ferris was her poem I come to take you home.
I've come to take
you home was the reason why Saki Partners Body Parts
Sure.
and Body was brought back to South Africa.
Maybe.
Meeting an influential human being like that, and in conversation, to be in conversation is a privilege for me. And then Hilton Schilder's work, to have a jazz artist like that. I've worked with him before on a dance job, but to have him in the space and to watch him.
Wow.
I wasn't here at the time, but to see Auntie Katrina here as well.
Sure.
And yeah, that's a highlight for me. And I think that's amazing. And that the space exists, that's really important and really amazing. That the space exists for indigenous people and for people to come and be part of.
Amazing, amazing. Jouw kant, Lukretia, highlight?
Sure.
Daarin het nou alles.
There's so many highlights. But I think the highlight for me is the fact that we are able to do this. You know, I am so grateful that, you know, it's not 100 years ago or 80 years ago where this would not have been possible.
Sure.
You know, because of the color of our skin, because, you know, of so many factors. I feel that we as young people are so privileged today living in this year and this time because we don't have to suppress ourselves the way that our parents and our grandparents and the ones before them had to. You know, they didn't have a choice.
Sure.
They had to suppress. They could not celebrate themselves because they would get ridiculed.
Sure.
You understand? So having this freedom for us to bring these things to the fore, like, you know, Oma Katrina, she's one of my absolute idols because she is 86 years old. She cannot write.
Yeah.
She cannot read, but she's published 2 books.
Sure.
She just finished a online e-dictionary.
Wow.
She has done multiple documentaries. She has basically, with her granddaughter, they have been fighting to revive the new language.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She's been awarded by the president the Order of the Baobab.
Wow.
She has gotten so many, how can I say, she has achieved so much as a woman at her age and still continues. You know, regardless of the challenges, regardless, and you know,
That's
like,
why.
that is for me ultimately, like with myself, I've also got my challenges.
Yes.
Without money, you just
Yeah,
have to
that kind of-
hustle.
yeah.
You know, you have to, everything has to work, and putting in that dedication, even at her age, with everything that's been handed to you on your plate, and still being able to create high value and high
Een mens
impact.
voel amper sleg, jy kan nie excuses maak.
How do you make excuses? How do you
Not with Lukretia, you can never.
So yeah, sometimes I'm in tears. Darion, sometimes I was like, I don't want to get up today.
En dit is normal,
But
dit is
then,
mens.
but then you realize that listen, this is bigger than
Then
me.
Yes.
It's that.
And I mean, it's someone took a chance on herself. She did that, you know, and I think that's important. That I think your audiences, people who watch, should recognize and vat 'n bietjie van 'n kans. You know,
Op yourself.
op yourself. Ek sal jou program 'n project manager gewees het. Ek 'n kans gevat het, you know. And it's understanding the climate, just the political climate, and understanding what you can do and how you can go about it.
Sure.
To do it, you
Amazing.
know. And it's about doing.
Ja. Nog praat, jy doen dit net.
Kijk eens aan, doen het.
Hey, ek wil ook praat met doen dit. Jy laat events wat voor lê vir ons klaar maak met die showkie. Wat lê voor gevoels vir die mense wat kyk wat wil nou support en so. What's happening?
By exciting, Dr. Diana Ferris is going to be doing a workshop, a poetry workshop. Now on the 3rd of July, we are going to have Colin the Bushman, who is going to be doing Bushman Blues.
Wow.
Love for Colin.
Oh my goodness. We are going to have our main event for the year is going to be a exhibition in conjunction with the Ezekiel Rock Art Museum, where we are going to be doing the evolution of indigenous art, where we bring, you know, what our ancestors did and what we are doing today together.
It's a collab.
It's a collaboration.
Right?
Yeah, so we're still sorting out the dates because they're still doing some upgrades there. We are going to have a small, it's like a very small opera piece, operatic performance. That is a tribute to Sarah Bartman.
Beautiful.
But this one is basically where we're not going to tell the story that has been propagated. We are going to tell Sarah's story and her perspective and what she went through. Because, you know, what we want to do is tell stories from the indigenous lens, you know, from our perspective, and try to, you know, walk and speak or try and, you know, think.
But also controlling the narrative.
Has it?
So control it.
Yeah,
yes.
but it's our narrative.
It's
our
supposed to
story.
control
It's our stories. You know, it's our responsibility.
Yes.
It's not even about control. It's about standing in ourselves and representing ourselves. And once we do that, that self-respect, that all of that, you know, everything that
100%.
we will only be recognized once we recognize ourselves.
And to find that confidence in doing it, I think. That is the point. Social media, waar kan die mense vir julle vang en support?
So you can find us on Facebook, Instagram and on Twitter as Koena Art Institute. K-O-E-N-A.
Is it Koena nie, is Koena.
Koena.
Ons begin by Koena, maar ons beweeg na Koena toe.
Ons beweeg na Koena toe, so Koena Art
And
Institute.
just so you know, Koena means people in Kwekwe, which is one of the indigenous languages. That's the hele paar Khoi language.
Yeah.
So Koena means people in Kwekwe. So it's the People's Art Institute.
Oh my gosh, people. Ek weet julle voel deel van die move. Ek weet dit, ek voel it. Please walk with Mel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please go out and support. Come to the events and let's start taking responsibility for our own narratives.